People think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. I'm Ikram with my good friend and mentor, Dr. Venga. Tonight, we're going to be talking about digital detox and time freedom. This, I believe, affects a lot of people. If you're watching this, it probably affects you as well. And what do I mean by affecting you? I mean it in the sense that many of us are addicted to our phones. Ever since the computer became small enough to fit in the palm of our hands, and we can carry it everywhere with us, from the toilet to even while you're driving. It seems we cannot detach ourselves from it. There's this constant barrage of notifications. There's hundreds of apps in our phones, from WhatsApp to emails to games, right? And all of these are constantly giving us notifications. So it's a constant attachment to that phone. And it comes at a cost. The cost is time freedom. Most of us are not free, or we don't have freedom of time because of this addiction to the phone. And this is something that Dr. Venga today is going to share his thoughts on. Maybe we'll look at why we have this drive or this need to be so attached to the phone, then looking at how we can break those chains and achieve time freedom. Good evening, Dr. Venga.
Good evening, Ikram. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful to see you again. Great, man.
Likewise.
Okay. Well, Ikram, every human has compulsive. Every human is compulsive, and he or she has developed compulsive behavior. We developed it from the time we came out of our mother's stomach,
Mm-hmm.
When we came out, we developed that behavior. Just imagine for one moment, as a baby, you were born, and then somebody beat you on the buttock after you were taken out of your mother's womb, and then you made a noise. That noise attracted people to come and hold you. Okay, so you tried it again a second time, a third time, then you knew every time you shout, people come to you. Compulsion. You develop a compulsive. So children cry to attract attention, so they know you cry, they will come. So compulsion started the moment you came out of your womb, your mother's womb, not before that. You didn't have the compulsion. So we come with compulsion. That's why, as a child growing up, you look at something for a few seconds, and then you tear it apart, and then you look for a new thing. Compulsion. This is human. Compulsion meaning to know. What is that? What is that? What is that? To know. Because of the five senses. So let me just give you a couple of examples. Number one, is nature compulsive? No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
It's
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Ikram. They're not compulsive. The seed is taken by a bird and dropped. And then it finds the ground to be good, and the seed sprouts and become a tree. It's not compulsive. The only compulsion in a tree is, where is the sun? It will find a way out of all this in the jungle, you can see it. For their survival, they will go to the sun. Because why? Sun, photosynthesis, okay, for them to survive and produce oxygen and water and all that, okay? So that's not a compulsion. That is a seeking a need, survival need. They have, nature has a survival need. Take animal. They have 5 senses, you know, like us, eye, ear, nose. Most of the animals have nose. Huh? Some don't, some do. Some has ear, some don't. But usually, like, out of the 5 senses, they have also. They have these 5 senses. Correct enough.
Correct.
But then animal is not compulsive, including having sex. It's not compulsive. It knows when the time is ready. When a female is ready and want to conceive, then the male will go and look for the female. It's not compulsive. Whereas human in sex is compulsive. It's not a need thing, you know. It's just a compulsion. You understand?
Right.
So nature have compulsion to survive. Animal has compulsion only when the need arises. Whereas human, unfortunately, we are compulsive from day one of our birth. We are inherently compulsive in behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It is difficult for us not to be compulsive unless you are born and you realize that you don't understand this. What is this? And you are paying a lot of attention to that only and not bothered with anything else. People may think that's psychologically something wrong with you. But you're not. You're just paying attention to the one thing that you want to pay attention. But that very few children do that. We clear?
Right. Yes.
But why is it like that? Why? Because, number one, we have part of this lizard brain, or what we call the reptilian brain. You know that, right?
Yep.
We have part of the reptilian brain. Now, that reptilian brain is for survival purposes. So that's why it's always protecting you. Your 5 senses that we have, okay, the 5 senses we have, which is to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch, okay? This reptilian brain is connected to these 5 senses to prevent you for survival, so that you can survive. Meaning that you will not do anything to harm yourself. Or it'll tell you, danger, beware. So you have this 5 senses, and inside you have reptilian brain, which is interconnected. And so it'll always, don't do fear, creates a fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how compulsion starts, okay? But you begin to understand that only at a certain age, not when you are younger. If I take you when you are a baby, 1-year-old baby, on the 10th floor, and I let you walk, you'll walk down the 10th floor, or you'll jump through the 10th floor. Yes or no?
Yes.
As a father or mother, they hold on to it because they don't want you to do the stupid thing, because you don't understand. Jumping means dead. So these are things that we... So now, we are compulsive because of the fact that we develop what you and I will call commonly curiosity. Because, remember, Ikram, very important, okay? We are born with a brain which is totally empty. It has no data. But it's got 2 parts. One part is called the intellect. The other part is called the intelligence. Now, your father and your mother gave you one cell each. Am I making sense or not?
Yes.
Tell me this, Ikram. Why didn't they give 10 or 20 or 1,000 out of the 150, 200 trillion cells that they have? Why they give you only one? Why not two?
They were sufficient for, I suppose the 2 cells were sufficient for replication.
Oh, very good. Logical answer. Very good. Yes, correct. Because that 2 cells became one, and from the one, you became who you are. Ikram, you and me, we became like that too. Now, these 2 cells were given that has already had a intelligence inbuilt in them. When they came together, they built it and developed a new intelligence. That's how, by multiplying themselves, they form a heart, a liver, a kidney, a spleen, body, limbs. The whole thing was made in about 40 over days in the mother's womb. Your mother didn't make it. You made it yourself. You are carrying that cell with you. You understand that? You understand what I'm saying, huh?
Yep.
Okay, now, these things begin to develop and grow. And as it grow and grow and grow, only in the human's case, it developed a neurocortex. That's why we became human. Because a human means that you can see, understand, you can know the difference between right and wrong. So the English word, human being. You are supposed to become something. Human. Animal, born, eat well, kill well, eat well, produce and die. Finish. It's the human that is born, and then the top line is no top line. You can do whatever you want to do with yourself because we have developed this neurocortex within us. So we have the ability to use it in the correct way. But we also come with this compulsive thing that has got. So one of it is the expansion, always wanting more, which is part of the neurocortex. And the other that is got also compulsion. The compulsion is in a way just goes on and on. That this compulsion is because of the data that you have collected through your 5 senses, your experience and all that, you collect the data. So,
Right.
One of the things we have collected, Ikram, is that human need interaction. A human likes to hug another human, talk to another human, interact with a human. That's why we travel kilometers to go and see a relative or a friend and talk and stay with them for a few days and come back and all that. That's how we used to do in the old days. Okay?
Right.
Now, but as we developed this, as we became better and better and better, then we made a cart. A cart can go faster and then come back faster. Then a car can drive you. We develop all that tools to take us. Can you imagine a tree can develop a cycle or not? Cannot, because it's rooted to one place. Only a human has the ability to develop a bicycle, a walker, a car, whatever it is. So it has the ability to do all this because why? Agility to go and meet and talk and okay. Then in the 20th century, okay, the clever, rich people using intelligent people created devices, the phone. I can talk to you on the phone. So the rich people give money, they control you. The more phone call you make, the more you pay. Yes or not?
Yep.
Then came the handphone. Other type of devices, whatever it is. What does it do? It makes your connection a little better. I don't have to go to New York to see you. I can see you on the phone. So our compulsion was created for convenience. Compulsion was created for convenience, right? Now, Ikram, how come humans don't understand between why am I doing this? I should be doing this. I should stop doing that. I should do this. How come they don't have that ability?
When it comes to digital devices, from the little I've been reading or articles I've come across, is that social media, many of these apps, WhatsApp, the notifications, they start giving us these dopamine releases, and it comes in trickles from the phone constantly, which then reinforces that behavior. I need to look at my phone. Many people today, while waiting for the lift, for example, you see everyone whip out their phone and just, scroll aimlessly.
Yes.
And it's not so much, this is what I believe. I think it's not so much because they need to see what's happening. It's more of a dopamine thing. Like you've been training yourself for the phone helps you with the dopamine release, and therefore you're constantly looking to it.
Yes, correct. I saw that the whole of last week, because last week, every day in the morning, I was in the hospital. There were probably about 30, 40 patients in the floor that I've been to. No? Every single one, with the exception of me and my wife, the rest of them they were doing that on the phone. Okay? I just wanted to just swing around and looked at it. I said, oh my God, such compulsion. Yes, you're right. So you talked about dopamine. I want you to understand that dopamine is not released by the other party that is notifying you.
Right.
You are releasing dopamine yourself.
Correct.
And then you try to connect that dopamine to the notification. No. The notification will come. Why don't you switch off the notification? Why? Because you want people to disturb you. You want that thing to tell you because of this human interaction that you so much need. We need people to say, oh, okay, that's good. Give you a thumbs up. We need people to say you are good, you are better, you are this. We are psychologically dependent on people telling us good things about ourselves. And if you do not respond, then you're not human. That's how, but it's good for the rich people, because they are the one that's spending all the money to make this happen. They know it. That's why, excuse me, the rich people give money for all the research to be done in universities, which, by the way, which I used to respect a lot before. Now I think it's a bunkum. It's done to increase sales of a product or a service or something like that. From literature to book to I don't know what else, to make you buy more. So 3% of the population control 97% of the population. They produce the product. Everything is done. From a nasi lemak to a cigarette to everything that you want. These people, by using educated level of platform, you cannot tell me that non-educated people made a telephone. You cannot tell me that.
No.
Educated people, they use educated people, train them, pay them money, so they use their brain and develop how to make sure that you look at a phone or a device. So this compulsion, although it's inside you, you can control it. But you don't want to control it. That's what I'm getting at.
Right. Right.
You allow it to happen. Look at me. I'm 84 years old. I had a phone for a long time and I never had a handphone. The first phone was given to me by force because on my birthday, they just bought a Nokia at that time and gave it to me. That is because of the fact that at that point in time, I was diving and we were used to go to islands and all that. So people can reach me, something like that, okay? But day one of that Nokia handphone, I switch it off, turn it off. I only turn it on to call somebody. I don't want people to call me. I never give my number. Then eventually it became more sophisticated, no? You can control notification.
Right.
So there I switch it off. Even today, I switch off the notification. And Ikram, like I'm talking to you right now, right? Okay, my phone is beside me, but it is switched off, meaning the volume is 0, meaning I switch off. You know, there's a device there. I do that because I don't want to be disturbed. So is it compulsion to switch it off?
No.
No, it's not. It's a conscious decision. Correct. So therefore, from what I have read ever since you talked to me on the subject, they say it is very difficult. Are you sure you want to lock out? Now, give you an example. Ikram, I only read email 2 times a day. When I'm free, I got nothing to do, I read. It depends on when I'm free. Okay? And before I shut down the day, at about 6:30 or 7 o'clock, I read it again. Email. The same applies to my telephone. If you happen to be sending me a message through WhatsApp, the chances are, if I've got a whole lot, I'll leave it alone, because I don't want to pay attention to that. Because I always tell people, you want to reach me, the only way to reach me, call me, and I will. If I see you call, okay, I won't immediately do it, but next maybe half an hour later, I will call you. Is that compulsion, or is it me trying to discipline myself to make sure that I'm not interrupted?
Discipline. It's a conscious effort in your part.
My dear friend, productivity of individuals have dropped by more than 50% in all organizations throughout the country because of this compulsive behavior. In fact, certain organization tells you, if we catch you speaking on the handphone during work time, okay, there is a reprimand. 3 warnings, we let you go. In developed countries, Lana. You understand? I don't know whether you can do such a thing in your company, Lana. then some people are even cleverer. They have two phones, one for the office and one for themselves. Which one rings more?
The personal one.
You see? You see? So, Ikram, we want to be disturbed. That's what I'm saying, okay?
Right.
If you can just cut that compulsive behavior, your productivity will go up much, much higher. I believe that so. Because remember, as a human, you cannot control the development of this neural cortex which is sitting in front of you. It wants to explore. It wants to know why, where, when, where, how. It's always developing. It is constantly, let me say this to you, Ikram, okay? You have something. You go shopping. You buy one more thing. Then when you go home, you check, I have the same thing, Lana. Yes or not? What
Correct.
made you compulsively buy that?
Compulsion, right?
It's like compulsion, meaning that advertising have gone into your ear and suddenly you see it reminds you through the brain and all that. Hey, that's a good one, buy. You go and buy. So a lot of this is driven by that compulsion, which we have. But if you are not paying attention to your compulsive behavior, you lose.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Huh?
Yeah.
So now, again, Ikram, there's another very important thing. We have a brain, which you and me, we developed that brain in our mother's womb. You understand? We developed it. Now, its function is dictated by how much data you collect in that brain of yours through your 5 senses. Now, consciously, when you do something, you will gather data. That's only 10%. 90% of the time, you are unconsciously recording it through your eyes, through your ear, through your nose, through your mouth, and through your hand. You are recording that. 90% is going into your brain without you even recognizing it. I cannot prove it scientifically, but I can tell you, if you examine yourself, you will notice that you are exactly absorbing. Wherever you go, something, you're seeing things that's being absorbed, right?
Correct.
Or you don't think so?
I think so. I agree. Completely agree on this.
So we are absorbing. Now, this is kept in a memory. When you were born, you have a memory cell, but you came with empty data. That which you collect is yours. That's one part of it, which is there permanently inside you. And you must find ways to use the data. But it has got an automatic process. And that automatic process is called intellect. Intellect is what the Western world preaches as thinking. Thinking is intellect. But intellect works with data. Whatever data you collect, that's what you work with. If you have no data, your intellect will not be that active. But it's impossible. Why? You are collecting data. Every day of your life, you're collecting data. Even when you sleep, you're collecting data.
Right.
Automatically. Correct or not?
Yeah.
So intellect is a good friend of our memory, and these two works together very well. Within this memory and intellect, there is a special human feature, imagination. We have a terrific sense of imagination because we think that imaginations come automatically. No, la. This is because you have unconsciously collected so much of information. It has created within you, and the process takes place by itself. You think suddenly you think of that. No, la, don't bluff yourself. You have collected it unknowingly, and suddenly you wanted it, pop, it comes out. So between the memory, the intellect, and your imagination, voila, you have a great time. Together with this, Ikram, you have another thing, which is called identity. I am an Indian. I am a Malaysian. I want this. I like this. You have identified yourself with something. Like, this is where I live. This is the car I own. That's the house I have. Identified with things. So you have, we go through that again. Okay. Identity, imagination, memory, and intellect. Four of these are what the Western world call as thinking. Partly they are right and partly they are wrong. Now, let me go to the other side of the coin, okay, which is intelligence. Do you have intelligence or not?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know you have intelligence?
Just the way, your liver is functioning without you having to give instructions, and your heart, and, the whole biology is existing and doing what it needs to do without you giving any thought to it.
I salute you, Ikram. Right.
No, the things I've learned from you over time.
You see it? Very good, Ikram. That's right. Our intelligence is doing a lot of work for us. It knows how to repair itself. It knows you have a little problem, whatever issue you have, it solves it. Hey, no issue at all. It does without even grumbling. I'm working too hard.
Right.
At night, it works. Take an example. If you do not sleep at 10 o'clock in the evening, okay, if you do not sleep at 10 o'clock, you are changing the system because melatonin is at the highest. Your body produces melatonin for you to sleep. But no, you want to watch television. You are changing your system. And that's why you cannot function properly the next day. You understand?
Yeah.
So human has the ability to do that. Animals, they know nighttime is sleep. Some animals, they know how to go and hunt at night. Human is the only one that has the ability, no, I don't want to sleep at 10 o'clock. I want to watch the movie. So we actually force ourselves to do things that is not natural. Okay. So what happens? What happened? This is important. Intelligence does not work with data. It doesn't have a memory. It doesn't have all the things that you do and collect the mem. All data. Its intelligence is by itself because it created your body. What?
Right.
You eat an apple. Let me ask you this, okay? You eat an apple, you become Ikram, right? Or let me make it simple. You eat a papaya, you become Ikram, right? It goes into you and then it knows what to do, whatever it wants, it takes, and whatever it doesn't want, base, right? Correct or not?
Correct.
Suppose a dog eats an apple or a papaya, you think it'll become human or not?
No.
It won't, right? If you eat dog food every day, will you become human? You will still be a human life. You eat dog food, you won't become a dog, right?
Correct.
So there is intelligence within us. But the Western world wants to explain everything, It has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then, 1%, 99% you don't know. So what you do not know doesn't exist. Is that what it is?
No.
But that's what the Eastern philosophy is very different. Eastern, okay, is that, hey, that's not true. Intelligence is by itself. It is there, but it works in a very intelligent way when it is needed and required too. Very seldom do we go to that area ourselves. That's why yoga came into being. That's how the Indians spend a considerable amount of time trying to find out. That's why they have this technology, meaning that if you want to use the intelligence that you have, you must separate yourself from your intellect, from your data that you already have, the ability to process that through your senses, your five senses and all that and intelligence, there must be a gap. If there is a gap, then intelligence will take over. Like when you're sick, you give up everything, okay? They give you antibiotic, whatever. But actually the body is repairing yourself. But it's
Right.
doing it on its own terms.
Venga, we have 2 or 3 more minutes before we have to conclude today's episode. Do you want to wrap up and just summarize everything we've discussed in terms of the digital detox and achieving time freedom?
Okay.
We know, or you've been telling us throughout most of the episode that the primary reason for this addiction towards our phone is a high degree of compulsion. How do you control that and achieve time freedom?
Ikram, I say this over and over and over again, the way I did it. First of all, whatever thoughts that come into my head, which is from the intellect, I will write it down, not type it down, write it down. Okay? When I write it down, I begin to manage my thought process. Writing, number one. Very important skill that must be learned. If you want to get out of this detoxifying yourself or digital detox and releasing time, number one, whatever thoughts come, it telling me to buy a pencil. Buy a pencil. Why? Just rather why? Then you look at no need lah. Cancel it. You need to manage you on your thought process. The intelligence won't come out and tell you, no, you need 4 pencils. It won't tell you that. Or you need 4 things. Right. No, it doesn't tell you that. Intelligence only will do it silently without you knowing it.
Right.
The Indians have a word for that in Sanskrit called chitta. Chitta. That's what it is, okay? So it'll do by itself. But because you are so caught up with this, so that's number one. You must write every thought that you have down. That's the way to manage your thoughts. Number two, whatever that you have written down, you must decide what you want to do in the daily schedule that I have, which is split into 24 hours and into 16 hours a day. Whatever you can do, you must put it down. That I call a goal that you want to achieve for today.
Right.
That's what you want to do. And the third thing, importantly, you must review. Why do you review? You review to ask yourself 3 simple questions. Throughout the day, you've been through many things. Okay? Number one, okay, and I published a book, I do not know whether you know this or not. It's called One Day at a Time.
Yes.
This book.
One day at a time. Yep.
You have a copy of this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in this book, very simple. Every day, you want to improve yourself and able to get through this digital detoxing. Every day, I got a statement. And in the statement, you ask yourself this simple question: what did I achieve today? Number one. Number two question is, what did I learn today? And was I productive today? We got a three question. This review is important because when you review whatever is stated here, you sit and review, you improve yourself. You are able to manage this digital detox better. Contrary to the belief that you cannot get away from it, you can if you want to, using these three little tools that I gave you: write, goal process, and review.
Fantastic.
This is my some conclusion.
Thank you very much, Dr. Venga. We've come to the end of our episode today. I hope you, our audience, enjoyed what was discussed. And there you go. It's, as always, Venga's techniques are usually very simple. Three things you need to do if you'd like to detox yourself digitally is to write, write, goal, and review. Thank you very much. Our next episode is happening on the first Wednesday of January. We'll be going into, so this actually is our last episode for the year. Happy New Year. We'll see you again next year, January 3rd, which is the first Wednesday of the month. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to all of you. Have a good year. See you next year, 2024. Bye-bye.